The night was calm, and the silver moon hung low in the sky, casting a soft glow over the quiet village of Everbrook. In the distance, crickets chirped a soothing melody, blending with the gentle rustle of leaves swaying in the cool night breeze. A soft fog had begun to settle in, blanketing the earth in a peaceful stillness. At the edge of the village, near a sparkling brook, stood an ancient oak tree, known by all as the Whispering Tree. Its gnarled branches reached skyward like outstretched arms, and its bark was covered in deep grooves, holding the stories of the village within. The tree was said to hold the secrets of life's many chapters, whispering its wisdom to those who were patient enough to listen. The night seemed to pause, as if the world itself held its breath. Beneath the tree's sprawling canopy sat a young man named Leo, a dreamer with a restless heart. His dark brown eyes were fixed on the journal resting in his hands, but his gaze was distant, lost in the thoughts swirling in his mind. For as long as he could remember, Leo had felt as though life was slipping through his fingers, like sand that could not be held. He had always felt that the chapters of his story were being written by someone else, someone who knew exactly where each page was heading, while he simply watched in confusion. But tonight something felt different. Tonight he had come seeking answers. He had returned to Everbrook after many years of wandering, searching for meaning in the noise of the world. He had tried so many things, always starting with excitement, only to leave them behind when doubts crept in. The journal in his lap was empty. He had attempted to fill its pages countless times, but every word seemed to vanish before it could make any sense. His dreams felt as blank as the paper before him. The wind picked up, and Leo shivered slightly, the cool night air brushing against his face. He opened the journal again and stared at the blank page. The pen in his grip felt heavier than usual. "Why can't I just begin?" He whispered into the night, his voice barely audible over the rustling leaves. He leaned against the trunk of the whispering tree and closed his eyes, allowing the sounds of the night to wash over him. But the memories of the past soon came rushing back, filling him with a sense of despair. He thought of the dreams he had once held dear, the time he had tried to learn music, only to quit after his first mistake. He thought of the small shop he had wanted to open, only to give it up when others laughed at him. He remembered the fear that had gripped him, stopping him from chasing anything that felt too risky. But the failures weren't the worst part. It was the slow realization that maybe he wasn't meant for greatness, that maybe he would never achieve anything that truly mattered. "What if I'm not meant for anything more?" he whispered into the night, the doubt echoing in the still air. As if in response to his words, the whispering tree swayed gently, its branches creaking in the wind. A single leaf detached and drifted slowly to the ground, landing softly in Leo's lap. Startled, Leo picked it up, his fingers tracing the delicate edges. Upon it, faint words were etched. "The chapter of life begins with a single step." The tree hummed softly, as if to affirm its message, and then a deep, resonant voice filled the air, breaking the silence around him. "Why do you sit in doubt?" Leo the tree asked, its voice like the rustling of ancient leaves. Leo looked around, unsure if the voice was real or just his imagination. He had heard the legends about the tree's wisdom, but he had never truly believed it. Still, something about the moment felt undeniably real. "Because I'm afraid," Leo admitted, his voice trembling. "Every time I try, I fail. Every time I dream, something stops me. I don't want to waste my time chasing things that will never happen." The tree's leaves rustled again, almost as if it were laughing. "Do you believe you are the only one who feels this way?" it asked softly. "Every life is a story filled with struggles and doubt. You are not alone in your fear." Leo listened, his heart heavy but strangely comforted. "Do you know the story of Santiago from The Alchemist?" the tree asked. Leo shook his head, curiosity piquing despite the uncertainty. The tree continued, its voice full of warmth and understanding. "Santiago was a shepherd who dreamed of treasure. He left behind everything he knew to follow his vision, to seek out his personal legend. But his journey was far from easy. He faced thieves, betrayal, and fear at every turn. He even doubted himself many times. But with each challenge, he grew stronger, wiser. His treasure was not the gold he sought, but the knowledge he gained along the way, the understanding of his own heart, and the truth of the journey itself." Leo leaned forward, captivated by the tree's words. "But how did he keep going?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The tree's voice softened, becoming gentle and soothing. Santiago kept going by embracing every step, even the painful ones. He realized that no story is written without struggle, and no dream worth chasing is free of obstacles. Every chapter of life holds meaning, even those filled with uncertainty. Leo let the tree's words sink in. For so long he had waited for the perfect moment to act, for the certainty that things would turn out just right. But now he was beginning to understand. Perfection wasn't the point. The journey, the unfolding of each chapter, was what truly mattered. But what if I fail again? Leo asked quietly, his voice tinged with fear. The tree's branches swayed gently in the wind, as if to embrace him. Failure is not the end, but a new beginning, the tree replied. It is simply a chance to rewrite your story with a deeper understanding. The only true failure is refusing to try. Leo sat in silence for a long while, feeling the weight of the tree's wisdom. He looked at his journal, and for the first time it didn't seem like an enemy. It wasn't a place where he had to get everything perfect. It was his canvas. The blank page wasn't something to fear, it was something to fill with whatever he had to give. His heart raced with excitement, a spark of hope kindling deep inside him. Slowly, Leo began to write. At first the words came in small, tentative bursts, reflections on the cool breeze, the silver moonlight, the wisdom of the tree. He wrote about the hopes he had buried deep within himself, the ones he had once thought were lost. As the ink flowed, so did a sense of freedom. He wasn't worried about failure anymore. The act of beginning, the act of writing his story, was a victory in itself. Each word on the page felt like a step toward something new, something meaningful. The night deepened around him, but Leo didn't notice. Hours passed in the quiet stillness, and before he knew it, the first light of dawn began to paint the sky in hues of gold and lavender. He looked up from his journal, his heart lighter than it had been in years. He glanced at the whispering tree, which now stood still, its branches bathed in the soft light of the morning. "Thank you," Leo whispered, his voice full of gratitude. The tree, though silent, seemed to acknowledge his thanks, its presence comforting and steady. With a final glance at the tree, Leo stood and began to walk away, the journal clutched to his chest like a newfound treasure. He was ready to face whatever came next, one step at a time. The chapters of his life, he realized, weren't meant to be controlled. They were meant to be lived. As you drift into sleep, let Leo's story be a reminder that the journey is never about perfection or certainty. Life's chapters may not always unfold the way we expect, but each one offers an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to discover who we truly are. But like Santiago, like Leo, you have the power to begin again, to face your fears, and to write your own story. Each step is part of your path, so take it. Good night, dreamers. May your dreams lead you to the next chapter of your incredible story.